Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope you are all having a wonderful day today. So for today's sewing tutorial, I am going to be walking you through how to make a pleated midi skirt.
Balancing on a weary line, too scared to trust you and jump down. I'll keep my status quo up here, won't let anybody come near. I'll fix it on my own. 29 years I've been the same, trying so hard to run from shame.
This skirt is super cute and has some fun details like pockets and a cute waist tie with belt loops, so I think it will be a really fun project. It's great if you're a beginner. There is no pattern required and I'll walk you through all the steps, so let's go ahead and jump right into the tutorial. For this project, you will need 2 yards of your main fabric. I'm using some navy cotton sateen. You will also need matching thread, some iron-on interfacing, an invisible zipper, some pins, and optionally some cute printed fabric for the pocket lining. The main part of the skirt is made from 3 pieces, 1 front piece and 2 back pieces. All of mine are 27 inches in length, and to determine how wide they should be, I took my waist measurement and divided it in half. Then I added 2 inches for each pleat I wanted on the front, along with 2 5/8 of an inch seam allowances. That gave me the measurement for the front, and for the back I did the same thing, adding 2 more 5/8 of an inch seam allowances to allow for the zipper, and divided that measurement in half. I'll have this math listed in more detail in a blog post and linked below. Other than the front and 2 backs, you will also need 1 front and 2 backs facing pieces. These are the same width as your skirt pieces, but they're 4 inches wide, so they're much shorter. I also cut these out of some heat fusible interfacing, so when you iron this onto the fabric, it makes it more stiff and helps the pleats to hold their shape. Next, we also need 4 pocket pieces, and I cut mine out of this cute scrap fabric with a straight edge of 6 inches long. You can trace a pocket shape from an existing pocket or draw a template. The last few pieces we need are the belt and belt loops, and I cut my belt as long as my length of fabric, which was 2 yards, and gave it a width of 4 inches. And then I cut 5 4-inch long and 2-inch wide belt loops, but I actually only ended up using 4 of these. Alright, now we have all of our pieces and we can start sewing. So first we'll attach the pocket pieces to the skirt front and back. Measure 5 inches from the top of your skirt and place the right side of the pocket against the right side of the skirt. Pin this in place and then sew it down with a straight stitch. I also finished my seam with a zigzag stitch and then did something called understitching. Understitching means that you turn your seam to the right side and then stitch carefully along the pocket edge. This will just help it to stay in place once you fold the pocket to the inside. Repeat this for all 4 pockets. Now we will sew the side seams. Start by matching up the skirt front and backs and pin along the side and the pocket. You will sew all the way around the perimeter of the shape to create the functioning pocket. So stitch this down with a straight stitch and then finish the seam off with a zigzag or serging stitch. And I also went ahead and zigzagged the other side of the back 2 pieces to prepare that for the zipper. Next, it's time to attach the invisible zipper. So unzip it and then lay one side against the back opening, right sides together, and pin it down, tapering off towards the end of the zipper. Then repeat this on the other side and stitch the zipper down as close to the teeth as possible using a zipper foot and a straight stitch. One trick I learned that you can carefully do is to carefully press open the zipper before you pin it down so that you can get closer to those zipper teeth. And ta-da, we have a zipper. So let's close up that back seam so the skirt doesn't get a little too breezy. Turn it inside out and pin from the end of the zipper all the way down. Then sew the seam with a straight stitch and press that seam open to help the zipper remain invisible. Here's here's a better look at that fusible interfacing. One side has little dots that melt when heated, so always place that side against the fabric to adhere it. Now that that is fused to the fabric, go ahead and pin up the side seams and then stitch those down with a straight stitch. No need to finish these edges because this will all be encased inside the skirt, so just press these open when you're done. Press up the lower edge of the facing a 1/2 inch and then pin the facing to the top of the skirt. Start by pinning along the zipper and then carefully stitch this down from the sides all the way around. When you turn it inside out, you can admire how clean the top edge and the zipper look. It will look really nice and neat. Now it's time to turn this rectangle into something a little bit cuter, and to do that we are going to add pleats. So you can see here I have marked my skirt for 7 pleats in the front, and to do this I measured in about 5 inches on each side and placed a pin. Then I alternated marking 2 inches and 1 inch until I had 2 inches marked 7 times. To make the pleats, take the pins marking the 2-inch measurement and bring them together and then pin this. I like to think of it as kind of like pinching the fabric, but be careful to make sure that they look really straight and clean. I'll continue this process until I have 7 little pinches across the skirt. Once I finish those 7 pinches, I'm going to flatten each pinch out and place a pin on either side. This creates a really cute and easy pleat, and then I'll repeat this process on the back of the skirt, adding 2 pleats to each side. After I've pinned all my pleats, I'll sew these down really carefully by top stitching 2 inches from the top of the skirt and then add another row of top stitching about a 1/2 inch away from the first row. Add belt loops to the skirt. Start by folding your belt loop pieces in half and then stitch along the side with a 5/8 of an inch seam allowance. Next we're going to turn these right side out and then press them. And I also pressed each end under about 1/2 an inch so that that edge is really clean. Then after I finished all of that, I will pin these where I want them on the skirt, and just for your reference, I added 1 to each side and then 2 to either side of the back zipper. And all I'm going to do after that is stitch these down with a straight stitch at the top and the bottom of each loop. To finish off the main part of the skirt, turn under the bottom hem twice to make it the length that you want, and then stitch this down with a straight stitch. To make the belt, fold your belt piece in half and pin along that long edge. I'm also adding pins to create an angle at the top to give my belt more of a point on each end. So stitch this down and leave one end open so that you can turn it to the right side. Turn it right side out and then top stitch along the entire perimeter of the belt, being sure to fold that open end under so that it matches the other side.
Will you be there to catch my fall?
Give the belt a press and then add it to your skirt and you are all done.
Darkness around me and I don't know why it's so hard to let go. Why it's so hard to let go.
Alright guys, so that is it for this sewing tutorial. I really hope you enjoyed it and found it helpful, and if you're interested to see other videos like this from me, you can go ahead and check out some of my past sewing tutorials, and then go ahead and subscribe to my channel here by pushing the red button down below this video. That really means a lot to me, and it also allows you to be notified whenever I post a video in the future. And if you end up making this project, I would love to see it, so be sure and tag me in any Instagram photos. My username is @Chic over there, and I would love to connect with you. My next sewing tutorial coming up in the next few weeks will be a Victorian inspired blouse, which will be great for taking into the fall season. It could even be a great piece for Halloween, so keep your eye out for that in the next few weeks, and I'll have that up on the channel soon. But thank you guys so much for watching today. I really appreciate it, and I will talk to you in my next video. Bye guys.